It's InGame, my prime time on a terrific Tuesday. Scott Wetzel and a surprise Cam Stewart joining us here for the next 2 hours as we watch and, more importantly, bet and hopefully win on the world of sports. Yes, the Super Bowl hangover is over. I went all day yesterday basically only making a couple of bets, which for me is like next to nothing. But kind of back into the grind today. We got college basketball, got a full slate of NHL, decent slate of NBA games as well. So my partner in crime, we got the Black Cloud. We got same game parlays coming up. So my partner in crime, Mr. Stewart. What's going on, Cam? How are you today, bud?
I love you, Wetzel. Yeah, the last time, it was like years ago we worked together. I remember we hit like a huge NHL parlay. It's hard to remember because we bet so much on this network. But yeah, Morency's in the air. I'm here. We got Matty George and the crew. And Scott, I was just telling you, I'm leading every hockey game. End them. It's like a horse race golf tournament. Great starts, but it's how you finish. But you know what? It was actually funny. I had more bets than Morency yesterday after the Super Bowl. To me, once the Super Bowl's done, I'm like hockey, college basketball, everything else. So, you know, if you work at SportsGrid, I don't care. Oh, football's over. Boo-hoo. We're not going to bet. We bet every night, Wetzel. That's our gig. Let's roll, buddy. We have a lot of big card tonight. Big card.
Yeah, good, decent little. You know, my favorite bet of the night, Cam, is coming through. I don't know how you feel about it. It doesn't necessarily mean I bet the most on it, but it's my favorite bet, and that was, believe it or not, Illinois State versus Indiana State. And you might be like, what the fudge is that? Well, you know, why would that be your favorite one, right? Because it's one of my system bets, right? Indiana State is ranked for the first time since the Larry Bird days, literally, right? So you know that campus and that team is being pumped up galore. They were a monster 18-point favorites over Illinois State, which sucks in the Missouri Valley. And lo and behold, last time I checked, Illinois State not only covering, but actually winning the game outright. So I love, Cam, when one of my systems, you know, seemingly will come through. And that is, you know, you got to bet against teams like that. They're not used to being ranked. They're so giddy right now. They're on cloud nine. Last thing they care about is some lousy team coming in like Illinois State. So that's my favorite bet so far tonight.
You know what, Wetzel? And that's great advice to everybody. What do we tell people? When a team goes to number one in the polls in college football or basketball, fade them. They're kids. They're not adults. They're not like you refereeing, you know, grade 4 basketball, worried about coming home and dealing with bills, problems, everything. They're kids. They're thinking about, hey, education. Maybe I have a girlfriend. Am I going to get, you know, better situations and maybe some action, other action? If we're a top 25 team, they're on cloud nine. You said it. And the coaching angle. Remember the Los Angeles Kings? They've been a team that we faded all year. They won 4-0 in their last game. New coach angle. We talk about this stuff, Scott, and some of it is very, very true. I love your angle tonight. And I'm actually on a dirty dog as well in college basketball. I took Vanderbilt, and people were like, Cam, are you like, what are you doing? Like, what are you smoking? No. Texas A&M is one of those teams. They've had big wins. You have to look for situations and look ahead spots. It's been great right now. They're monster dogs, and like they're hanging right in there at the half, Scott. Hey, it's not about good teams or whatever. It's about situations, and A&M's only up 1 right now. Vanderbilt's plus 6.5, and I got a much better number at the start of the game. I love your angle. Kids, especially from small schools, when they get into the top 25, fade them. Great play, Wetzel. I love it.
Yeah. You know, that's why I tell people when they laugh, when I tell them, I bet WNBA games. And it's like, you don't have to watch the games. I mean, you got to follow it a little bit, but I love the situational spot more than the X's and O's. You know, I can't tell you how many times I laughed this week, you know, and God bless, and no names. Yep. All channels, all these so-called experts coming on, all the radio stations and TV stations and talking about San Francisco's the better team and the Niners and the X's and O's and the zone defense that they play is going to counterattack this, that, all this other mumbo-jumbo, right, Cam? It's like, oh, are you kidding me? I mean, it still boils down to Patrick Mahomes versus, you know, Brock Purdy, you know, God bless him, and Andy Reid to me versus Kyle Shanahan, and that I mean, it was as simple as that. It was the one time the public won with the Super Bowl. So same thing with these angles. My point to it all is you don't necessarily need to know the players and this and that. You just you got to follow along and know who's got a big game coming up or which kids are on cloud nine. Like Terry Hoden, literally Larry Bird. You got to go back 40 years the last time this team was in it, and they've been awful. And I follow the Valley because they went to Southern Illinois. So. I just knew they were not going to be prepared to play this game tonight. So, yeah, give me the angle any day of the week.
I won square. I played squares, Super Bowl squares at 2 bars. I won like a quarter square at one. It wasn't much. And all these guys.
Nice.
The best is when you work at a company, people love to tear you down because you're on sports. And I go there not to talk sports, but everybody wants to be an expert and they make us look like stooges. So they all come up to me tonight. Oh, Cam, yeah, the Leafs are going to get killed by the Blues. I go, okay, now you have a comment? Put your money on it. I'll give you 2 beers to 1. You get 2, I get 1. I'm on Toronto. They go, oh, the Leafs are going to get murdered. I'm like, yeah, after a loss to Ottawa. You know what it is, Wetzel? We're in this business. I'm not going to lie to you. I was on the Niners. I hit a lot of good stuff. The winning margin bet, every teaser. I bet it each team, each way, 4-0. But I was on the Niners to win the game. That was a loss. But you know what, Scott? A lot of people they forget. These guys are human beings, man. They have blood. They have problems. They have like you can't. That's the thing. I do shows with guys with computer bases and stuff. Sure, you can have algorithms, you can have numbers, but there's a human element to everything. Some days I feel great. Some days I feel like crap. Some days me and my girlfriend, we're on fire. Other days we're not doing so well. That's the whole thing. People understand. Like, they're not robots playing the game. If they are, we'd all be rich. They're human beings and things happen, right? So I like your angles. We forget about the human element. Everybody's into their computers. You got to watch the games and figure it out yourself.
Yep. And I did notice Toronto's up 2-0. So it looks like you're going to be drinking.
Oh, and the game, Scott, because I want to collect.
The
whole bar is going to be owing me a keg, and I'm going to come back in there and go, hey, everybody, how are the Leafs tonight? Like, no, they said it with like anger to me, too. It's like, they're going to lose to the Blues. Then I'm thinking, Scott, I'm like, they're minus 175 favorites. Okay, whatever you guys want, like that's the way.
Why would they think the Blues? Think. Like, it's not like they're playing the Edmonton Oilers here. I mean, it's the St. Louis Blues. Why would they be so down on Toronto that they were going to lose this game?
You know what it is, Scott? Leaf fans have basically, like a lot of people in life, have given up.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? They lose to the Senators, and they're like, oh, this team sucks. All I hear is the man. I'm that guy too, but I also know situations. I'm like, you lose to a rival in Ottawa and you're playing St. Louis, who's not a very good hockey team, who beat down Montreal, like they've been playing good lately, is a perfect spot for the Leafs to get it right. And I'm like you, I play angles, but we got lots of picks coming up, Scott. I want to get your opinions on the NHL as well. A lot of dangerous visitors, I'm thinking, tonight on Frozen Water.
Yeah, you got Edmonton in action tonight. You got the Blackhawks in action tonight. I mentioned it on Game Time Decisions. I like the under in both games. We got some strong under trends. Edmonton, believe it or not, 13-1 under. We all talk about that 16-game win streak, or 17, whatever it ended up being, 16, because they lost to Vegas. But they're at a monster under run as well, 13-1. So they're in action. The Blackhawks can't score. Definitely, we'll get into that game that starts a little bit later on. Got the Black Cloud, and we got the same game parlay. And I do want to mention, we'll get your thoughts, Cam, after the break here about the Morgan Riley situation. Had his meeting, I imagine, today with the NHL. It's Pierre Turgeon, Dale Hunter all over again, right? Personally, I think he should get at least 10 games, if not 20. But I'll get Cam's thoughts when we come back. InGame Live, PrimeTime.
Scoring 19.7 points per game, 13.1 rebounds, and 8.2 assists. How can a center that is top 50 in scoring, first in rebounding, 7th in assists, and 8th in field goal percentage not make the All-Star team? That is such a huge snub for Domantas Sabonis.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Over $200 million in the state of New York in sports betting, half of that going to the state. All thumbs up, I guess, across the board here, right?
Yeah, New York just continues to be the standard bearer for the industry. People are betting a ton on NFL. We've still got March Madness coming up. This is really the prime time for the U.S. sports calendar with the NFL playoffs, Super Bowl, and then, college basketball, NBA, NHL in full swing.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
What are you thinking overall, kind of first reaction here? Patrick Mahomes, his legacy.
I don't know how far his drive is. Is his drive to become known as the greatest quarterback of all time? I don't think matching Super Bowls will really do that. I think there'll always be, the Brady people will always say, listen, it's a different era.
Football Full Circle, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network.
Well, look at the Heisman Trophy.
The early line.
And what it all means. Individual success.
You should have tried to get something for Anthony Rendon. Not bought at the deadline.
Newswire.
We're getting a lot of news, trades, cuts, and some movement in terms of starting quarterbacks,
Pharrell coast to coast.
I want to watch great players make buckets and win games.
Game time decisions.
I have no idea what the heck the Blazers are doing and what they
In-game live.
Just
prime time.
Yard for a grand slam.
The bottom of the fourth inning in a 12-2 baseball game. We got football scores going on at Wrigley right now.
Sports Rage
That was
late night.
We waited for 1.5. We got paid.
We did.
Didn't like the 2.5. Jumped on
There's
it.
no taking weeks off in golf betting ever. These are the best weeks to bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. In-game live, prime time here on a Tuesday. Scott Wetzel and Cam Stewart filling in for Dave Sherpan until 10 p.m. Eastern time, watching and betting on the world of sports. Ton of stuff to get to tonight, NHL, NBA, college basketball, but I did want to bring up the Morgan Riley situation, Cam. I know you're a big hockey guy, obviously,
Yep.
so I said I thought he was going to, I thought he deserved 20 games. I mean, I was at the Dale Hunter, Pierre Turgeon playoff games when I was covering the Islanders. And to me, it was a carbon copy. In fact, the same thing. He scores a goal, skates to the left of the goal crease, and Hunter, in that case, whacks him. Riley whacks him. I thought it deserved more. I guess he got 5 games because it was on an unsuspecting player. And the play was over. It wasn't in the flow of action. It wasn't, by accident. It wasn't like you got to keep your head on a swivel like we've seen a lot of guys get popped on the ice. This was clearly goal scored. He relaxes. He's not suspecting anything. And he got cross-checked to the neck into the boards. It wasn't just a shove. I mean, he could have seriously hurt this dude. So that's why I thought he deserved 20. Just shows you how out of line I am. He only gets 5, Cam. What did you think?
And I thought he was going to get 3, so we're way out of line. But I will say this, Scott. I'm a Leaf fan. Dirty play. But there's a difference between the Turgeon play and that. That is a regular season game versus Ottawa and an empty net goal. Where Turgeon and the Caps, I think was it not a playoff game with a regular goaltender in net? Yeah, that was a way dirtier play in my opinion. But I understand both unsuspecting players. 5 is actually, if you think about it, a pretty fair number. Morgan Riley, it's a dirty play. You can't do that stuff. And I got to be honest with you. I watch so much hockey now, and the game is so soft. It's actually shocking when you see a play like that, Scott. It brings me back to the old days where guys were using basically sticks as axes, and the player in front of the net is a tree. You know what I mean? We don't see fights anymore. We don't see as many dirty plays. I know there's a couple slew footers out there like Kucherov. He's a master at that stuff. And Malkin and some of those guys, if you watch what they do, they're really good at playing dirty. But you don't see that type of thing where a guy just runs an unsuspected player. 5 is fine. Riley's got to figure it out. Empty net goal. You know what, Scott? It's one of these things. They talk about codes and, you can't do this, you can't do that. Bottom line is this. You lost to the Senators. You got suspended because your team, you couldn't get it done. And don't take it out on a young player in Ottawa for your frustrations. It was a dirty play. I'm with you 100%. But you know what? Hey, and as I got on my soapbox with the Leafs, the Blues just scored. And if the Blues win this game, I got real problems at the local tavern. but 2-1 right now.
Right.
But
let me ask you, is that a bad, like, I know there's code of ethics in baseball. You're not supposed to showboat and flip the bat and all that other stuff. That I get. I mean, but, taking a slap shot, albeit, 5 feet from the net, with 3 seconds literally left in the game. I mean, I don't know. That's not a no-no in hockey versus just sliding the puck in?
It is a no-no. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care about it. If you did it to me, Scott, and you were on the other team, I wouldn't put you in a headlock or cross-check you across the face. Know what my line would be? Maybe our team should do better so I don't have to worry about you beating us with an empty net goal. But they always say at the end of the game, just flick it in the net, do that. It's almost like adding insult to injury. I don't care. But some of these hockey guys, Scott, they're weird dudes. Like you know what I mean? They're very rigid in their thinking. I think it's wrong. But hey, if you want to take a slap shot, it's just basically showing up the other team. And you know what? Good for Ottawa. Like, I'm a Leaf fan, and in Ottawa, they always get up for the Leafs. I'll give you a tip. Every time the Leafs play Ottawa will win 7 out of 10 times as a 2-1 underdog. They just always get up for that game.
So there's no way this guy didn't know that. Like, he's not going to come out and say, I didn't know I couldn't take a slap shot, right? He knew that was kind of like crossing the line.
Yeah, a young player, but the bottom line isn't like Morgan Riley didn't need to do anything. To me, it's a frustration play where you lose your mind for a while. Kind of like, say a guy hits you in traffic and you go over there and like slug him in the head, and then you think about it afterward and go, oh my God, I shouldn't have done that. It was a reactionary play, but it was also a stupid play. And I think if we get both of our suspensions kind of in the middle, 5 is fine with me. I thought it would be a little bit less because of the hockey so-called code, but it's a dumb play. Like, you can't do I would never do it to you, but that just tells you the level of frustration that the Leafs have this year, projected as one of the better teams, and they're just a very weird hockey team. They lose to teams they shouldn't lose to, and I don't know what to think, Scott. I'm going to tell you something. Like, it's a very tense situation. I live here. Every single person here, they're so nervous. They hate the team. They want the coach fired, and they're very close to being done with them. Even though the Leafs are kind of like a drug or a disease. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you love them, but you hate them all in one too. Like, the fans are very, very bitter right now.
I was going to say, is Sheldon Keefe taking any heat because of this? Is this another example of him not having control of this team?
He doesn't have control of the team, but I don't think it really matters, because I look at the guys on the team and go, you should be one of the best teams in the league. Scott, you watch hockey like me every night. They have the most talent, fast. They have bad goaltending, and their defense is too slow. But when you talk about forwards, they're wicked. It's not Keefe's fault. Everyone's like, oh, fire Keefe. What about Brendan Shanahan and all these other guys that put this team together? So the other coaches weren't good enough? It's the same thing every year. It's not the coach, it's the players. Unless Matthews, Marner, and the rest of these guys, Nylander and these guys, step up and be men in the playoffs instead of little boys, they're never going to win. They got to take the next step. The problem is that with the Leafs, they almost seem like a team that's all talented, but when they deal with real men, it's like old men strength. They get beaten up by like teams that have been there, done that before. That's why they never beat Boston. I'm watching Boston right now. They're just a good hockey team. Even when they're not playing well, they're always in position. They're men. You know what I mean, Scott? Like, when you watch the Leafs, they're not an intimidating team. They're talented, but in the playoffs, you need to be tough. You got to win the wars.
Buffalo, LA Kings. Speaking of coaches and being fired, right? We had the coaches fired system, as you mentioned. It hit with LA. And how do they respond? Game number 2, back to the LA Kings, down 4-0 at Buffalo. Second period, 8 minutes left.
Wow, they scored again. I got to tell you something, Scott. I don't know what's happening with LA. And in my opinion,
they were so good.
I have these guys to win the Stanley Cup. We'll tell the truth on the show. I thought they were the best value in the Western Conference heading into the year. And then I thought about it. I'm like, you got Cam Talbot as your goalie? Like, you know what I mean? And then they got rid of Jonathan Quick. Right. He's playing great with the Rangers. He's actually playing better than Shesterkin this year. I'm like, what is going on with LA? Like, it's just, they'll figure it out. If they know what the thing is, Scott, it's one of those things. If they sneak into the playoffs, it's a team I wouldn't want to play against, but they look very, very good, right? Like, right now, I'm just baffled. Like, they played a great game. They won 4-0 in the game where their new coach came back. Nobody, like, Buffalo's beating them 4-0. You're right. How did the Sabres score 4 goals? We're only in the second period. God help us, Wetzel. What's happening?
Amazing.
Yep, it is. It's amazing.
We had like 4 goals in the first 2 minutes of this Washington-Colorado game, and it's still 2-2. But the Capitals, I got to give the Capitals credit, Cam. They've hung around all year. Ovechkin went through that scoring drought. Now he's scored goals in 5 straight, and people still think they're not really very good, and maybe they're not, but they don't roll over. And I still question Colorado if they're coming or going. But you got 2-2 Colorado-Washington. Colorado's still minus 172 favorite on the road.
I need more with Washington. One. I love you, Wetzel. You're right. And the thing about Washington is they lost the game to like the hottest team in the league, Vancouver, in overtime. People think these guys are junk. They're not junk. They're just an aging hockey team. They're going to have hot streaks and cold streaks, but I need more than 130. Scott, live board for hockey. I am on, I'm going to take Carolina plus 100 against Dallas. I'm seeing Dallas minus 120 right now. And I took the Devils against the Nashville Predators. I think the Devils are going to go on a little bit of a heater. They blanked Seattle last night. And I'll have some college basketball as well. And hopefully you get your basketball pick tonight. Hopefully our dogs come in.
Yeah. Illinois State's up to plus 340 on the money line. I may just put a couple shekels on that.
I like that.
I hate to put the black cloud on that, but I just, you know what? I think that I can see it.
Scott Black Cloud Wetzel and Cam the Lemon Stewart. InGame live. Yeah, that's what my bookie used to call me. He's like, you're leading every game, then you lose. We squeeze you like a lemon. Yeah,
Doesn't get any better than that. Special anniversary in college basketball. We'll talk about that next.
Nice.
Scoring 19.7 points per game, 13.1 rebounds, and 8.2 assists. How can a center that is top 50 in scoring, first in rebounding, 7th in assists, and 8th in field goal percentage not make the All-Star team? That is such a huge snub for Domantas Sabonis.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Over $200 million in the state of New York in sports betting, half of that going to the state. All thumbs up, I guess, across the board here, right?
Yeah, New York just continues to be the standard bearer for the industry. People are betting a ton on NFL. We've still got March Madness coming up. This is really the prime time for the U.S. sports calendar with the NFL playoffs, Super Bowl, and then college basketball, NBA, NHL in full swing.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
What are you thinking overall, kind of first reaction here? Patrick Mahomes, his legacy.
I don't know how far his drive is. Is his drive to become known as the greatest quarterback of all time? I don't think matching Super Bowls will really do that. I think there'll always be, the Brady people will always say, listen, it's a different era.
Football Full Circle, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network.
Well, look at the Heisman Trophy.
The early line.
And what it all means. Individual success.
You should have tried to get something for Anthony Rendon. Not bought at the deadline.
Newswire.
We're getting a lot of news, trades, cuts, and some movement in terms of starting quarterbacks,
Pharrell,
backup quarterbacks.
coast to coast.
I want to watch great players make buckets and win games.
Game time decisions.
You have no idea what the heck the Blazers are doing and what they
In-game live,
Just
prime time.
Yard for a grand slam.
The bottom of the 4th inning in a 12-2 baseball game. We got football scores going on at Wrigley right now.
Sports Rage
That was
late
better.
night.
We waited for 1.5. We got paid.
We did.
Then like the 2.5. Jumped on.
There's no taking weeks off in golf betting ever. These are the best weeks to bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. It is InGame Live, prime time here on a Tuesday. Scott Wetzel, Cam Stewart until 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Full slate, NBA. We got NHL and college basketball. And I forgot all about this, as I started looking at some of the games this afternoon, Cam. I'm sure you remember. It was 30 years ago. I can't believe it was 30 years ago. Wow. 30 years ago today, one of the all-time greats. When I used to work over at the Three Letter Network, every once in a while, we'd have a radio show where, with nothing going on, popcorn radio, it is, but it was a lot of fun. We'd go over all-time coaches' rants, right? And we would play all these rants. God bless YouTube. It would be so much fun. So 30 years ago today was this, if you remember, in college basketball.
And you send your kids out there pushing and shoving. The guys did a hell of a job. You had the best officiating you could ever get here. And for you to ride them, I want to be a part of that. I just got my ass blasted for giving them hell down in West Virginia. And here you get a hell of a job right here today. Good job. 3 class guys. And you pick them out here and single them out. You can't get that. You got to nerve to threaten the guys. Shut up, guys. You got to nerve to threaten the guys. I'm killing you. You remember that. When I see you, I'm going to kick your ass. Kick your ass. Come on. You got a good team, and you don't need that edge. That's why I was telling my kid to knock your kid in the mouth. Standing there pushing in the game.
Some things never cease to amaze me. I'm not going to say anything right now because I don't want to say the wrong thing. I think it's better that I just walk out of here. And I'm not going to talk on the television. I'm not going to talk to anybody at this point right now.
You know what?
Oh, is that great or what?
I wish they threw down. I love the old days. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I got to tell you, I love it. It's so real. Like, what do we see today? The only guy we see, I can only think of like once in a while when the Raptors coach went nuts about whatever. Tortorella hates all media, Philadelphia, New York. Hey, Brooksy, you got a question? Like, you know what I mean? You don't see that stuff anymore. You go to press conferences now, you might as well like just grab a pillow and some covers and go take a nap. I love those old days, man. John Chaney, I tell you, like, I got to be honest with you. I'm on, like, Calipari, there's a lot of coaches that wanted to, like, wring this guy's neck, like, many times over the years. Like that laissez-faire, cocky kind of attitude when he was young. And don't mess with an old guy like that. He'll ring your bell.
Yeah, that's classic. I mean, I remember that. I do.
Best.
I think I watched that. I think that was a Saturday afternoon, like, NBC game of the week.
I was a kid. And I remember my parents are like, whatever. I was going to go and play street hockey. I'm like, no, I'm watching college basketball. My dad comes down. He goes, is this guy going to throw down? I go, come on, punch him in the face. Like, I'm just like, yes. You know what? He did get screwed. But anyway, Wetzel, you're so right. Like, where are the characters in sports now? They don't exist. They don't exist.
Rivalries don't even exist, Cam. I mean, try to come up with a football rivalry outside of just, Cleveland, Cincinnati, but in that area. But give me a game that, you don't have to live in that state or be a fan of that particular team that you say, well, I got to watch this because this is going to be a great game because it's a rivalry. Hockey, any of them. NBA, is there an NBA really rivalry? Baseball? I think we're done with Red Sox, Yankees. I mean, not there anymore.
You're right, Scott. Like, Army-Navy seems to be the most legit. Like, you know what I mean? And then we look at, I remember, though, like, growing up, like, Auburn, Alabama, that was a big deal when both programs were great, right? Florida State. Even remember, like, even Notre Dame versus Miami, convicts versus Catholics. Like,
great slogan.
They had shirts made. Wait, you think I got a shirt made for a Toronto Maple Leafs Ottawa Senator game? I might get a coupon for like a beer. I'm just telling you, it's just, you're so right. And the way they move conferences and stuff, we were very blessed, I guess. And I think that's why we got into this business, because it was fun. Now it's just all about these young guys. You tell me a player that stays on a team more than five years too. Like, I got jerseys for guys who played their whole careers in Seattle. Like, you're a Miami fan, Larry Zonka. Like, dude, it's a different world we're living in right now. And I don't think I think it's a hell of a lot worse than it used to be. That's why we're just betting on the game, Scott. We can't change anything. All we can do is try to make money.
Yep. I got suckered into under Virginia tonight. I play them all the time, and they've been pretty profitable for me. It was a low number, 121.5, 122 against Pittsburgh. It's 58-52. Virginia trails with 7 minutes left, so that's going to go way over. Got 140. I mean, is it Pittsburgh? You need 30 points. You know what? I'm looking at this now. You need 30 points in the final 8 minutes. I don't think you're getting that. They're at 110. They're giving you 140? Really?
Scott, there's two crazy games right now. Syracuse is up on North Carolina, 62-61 live line. UNC 3.5 total, 163.5. And Providence and St. John's, the Fighting Cardanos of St. John's, 50-49 over Providence. Tight game. St. John's laying 1.5 on the road, 159.5. Would you take a shot with North Carolina, or do you think Syracuse, maybe it's their night tonight? Seems a little bit short at 3.5 with over 10 minutes left in the second half.
Yeah, I'd take North Carolina. I don't get a chance to bet on Syracuse, unfortunately, here in New York, because it's a New York school based in New York, upstate New York. But, give me Carolina. Basically a picker. My 3.5 at Cam is my threshold on worrying about covering the spread. Not saying teams don't win by 3 or 2, but in my mind, it's like, okay, do I think North Carolina's going to win? Yeah, then I'll lay it. Once it gets to 4.5, then I got to worry about covering the spread. So if it's 3.5 or less, I'm in.
You're right. There's another one. Dayton, actually, Duquesne's giving Dayton all they can handle tonight. And they're minus 1.5 live at Dayton. The total 137.5. You know what? I'm going to lay off. Something's telling me they could have made Duquesne it feels like a trap to me. So I'm going to stay away. In the NBA, Scott, I'm on the Heat already.
And by the way, is that
Dayton?
Cam, is that they are the home team in that game, Dayton?
I think, aren't they? Are they not the home team, Duquesne at Dayton? Let me see here.
The line looks a little funny for them to be the home team. They're down 55-53.
They are. It is that.
They're ranked.
It is that Dayton. It is. I knew it was.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That line has got trapped. When I see 1.5 with that much time, it's Duquesne or nothing for me. I'm going to lay off that game. NBA, I'm already on the Heat. I'm trying to find something live there. Nothing really sticks out, Scott, but we'll find something in hockey. I could tell you that. There's a lot of crazy games going on right now. I know what I'm going to do. I got one for you, Wetzel. Wow, Sabres are up 5-0. 5-0.
Wow.
I'm going to take live over 4.5 with Anaheim, Montreal. The juice is 40 cents, but I'm still going to take it. Anaheim, I love the Ducks for one reason, Scott. Home unders, away overs. I think this game's going to open up and the final score will be 3-2 or 4-2. I'll take over 4.5. Anaheim, Montreal. I'm not going to lie, guys. The juice is 40 cents to the over. I'll lay it. Give me the over.
FanDuel's got it at 60 cents.
Are you
62
serious?
to be exact.
Oh, my God.
Minus 162.
See, Scott, that's why I go shopping. You're right. FanDuel Ontario is a 158, but my other offshore is 40 cents flat. So I'll take it. If you can find that, that's a lot of juice, though, but I'll take it.
Yeah. How about the Islanders at home? Down 1-0 against Seattle's such a weird team. Boy, they go on spurts. They're great, unbeatable, and then they go on spurts where they can't beat Topeka High. I can't figure that team out.
I'm on the Kraken tonight. Don't like to go against the Islanders. The only reason I took them, they lost and played a listless game against the Devils last night. I like to come back to teams that didn't play well. You said it, Scott. They're a Jekyll and Hyde team, so I expect good things from them. You know what I will do, though, Scott? Small plays. And I can't lie. We got to be honest on the show. I am on Carolina, New Jersey. I'm going to take both teams live right now. And if one of them wins, I make money. Carolina plus 210 and New Jersey plus 190. Both down 1-0. Carolina's down to Dallas and Nashville's up 1-0 on the Devils. If one of them comes through as dogs, we win and get our money back. I think one of them will, and I'd be happy if two did. But that's the way we roll on InGame Live. The bottom line, Scott, you know this. This is not your first rodeo. You've been doing this stuff for years. You take dogs. I don't like laying numbers on InGame Live. I love teams down a couple runs in baseball. We jump on them. It's been great. And you know hockey, Scott, how many 2- and 3-goal leads? They die quick. The NHL, I've had teams come back from 4-goal leads this year, so I'm not worried about a 1-0 lead in a hockey game.
How about Vancouver, Chicago starting here in a couple of minutes? Blackhawks have scored 2 goals or less 10 of their last 13 since Connor Bedard's been out. They can't score. They're 10-3 under in those games. And really, most of those games, they've scored 1 goal or been shut out. I mean, it's literally 4 times I think they've scored more than 1 goal. I don't know how they're getting the team total's minus 166 at 2.5. Who wants to do 166? But so maybe the game total minus 5 or under 5.5. Cam,
I lean under. I worry about Vancouver tonight after their overtime win against Washington. I would not lay 1.5, even if they do. God bless them. But what do you think about here we go, Scott. It's the Scott Wetzel Dark Cloud Cam Stewart public parlay of the night. The 2-step with the Oilers and Canucks plus 101. I'll do it because I don't have to lay juice. But I'll tell you, Detroit's a good hockey team too. But I think Edmonton will win that game. It won't be easy, and I think Vancouver will squeak out a win against Chicago. No puck lines. What do you think, Wetzel? Public parlay, and if it loses, you can cut my mic.
All right, you got a deal. Right? Because who's betting the Detroit Red Wings tonight, right? Nobody. You can't possibly do it. 13-1 under for Edmonton last 14 games, Cam. Most people following their winning streak, and rightfully so. But
you know what, Scott? I actually do have a play. I like your under. I like the over in Edmonton and Detroit. It's 6.5, but I'm going to take
it.
I think Detroit can score. I know Edmonton's been playing to the under. This is a game I think opens up a little bit. Small play.
Bucking, Cam bucking 13-1 odds.
I got it.
Scoring 19.7 points per game, 13.1 rebounds, and 8.2 assists. How can a center that is top 50 in scoring, first in rebounding, 7th in assists, and 8th in field goal percentage not make the All-Star team? That is such a huge snub for Domantas Sabonis.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Over $200 million in the state of New York in sports betting, half of that going to the state. All thumbs up, I guess, across the board here, right?
Yeah, New York just continues to be the standard bearer for the industry. People are betting a ton on NFL. We still got March Madness coming up. This is really the prime time for the U.S. sports calendar with the NFL playoffs, Super Bowl, and then college basketball, NBA, NHL in full swing.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
What are you thinking overall, kind of first reaction here? Patrick Mahomes, his legacy.
I don't know how far his drive is. Is his drive to become known as the greatest quarterback of all time? I don't think matching Super Bowls will really do that. I think there'll always be, the Brady people will always say, listen, it's a different era.
Football Full Circle, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York team has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network.
We'll look at the Heisman Trophy
The early line.
and what it all means. Individual success.
You should have tried to get something for Anthony Rendon. Not bought at the deadline.
Newswire.
We're getting a lot of news, trades, cuts, and some movement in terms of starting quarterbacks,
Pharrell
backup quarterbacks.
coast to coast.
I want to watch great players make buckets and win games.
Game time
You
decisions.
have no idea what the heck the Blazers are doing and what they do.
In-game live.
Just
Prime
took 'em
time.
yard for a grand slam.
The bottom of the 4th inning in a 12-2 baseball game. We got football scores going on at Wrigley right now.
Sports Rage
That was
Late
good betting.
Night.
We waited for 1.5. We got paid
We
for
did.
information. Didn't like the 2.5. Jumped on
There's
it.
no taking weeks off in golf betting ever. These are the best weeks to bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. In-game live, prime time here on the grid. Scott Wetzel and Cam Stewart. We're going to be joined by our good buddy George Kurtz. But let me throw out a same-game parlay in hockey. It's going to start here in a couple of seconds. So let's do a little SGP action. All right, get a couple seconds. Let's get this in real quickly. We're going to use hockey. Vancouver against the Chicago Pathetic Blackhawks. Give me the Canucks minus 175 regulation win. We're not going to need overtime here. Going to go under 5.5, as Cam and I talked about before. Going to get a goal in the first 5 minutes? No. Minus 250. In fact, are we going to get both teams to score in the first period? No. Minus 280. And then we need Chicago under 2.5 goals, hence that under 5.5. Put it all together, 5 legs, and we got a nice little plus 362. Not a monster one.
You know what?
But it's all basically Vancouver's going to win this one, guys, as we're welcoming George Kurtz. I see a 3-1 Vancouver win. What do you guys think?
I like the play. But if I'm Johnny Knuckles or Fat Tony, I'd offer you 5-1. Like I almost think you need a little more meat on the bone there. Sorry, I know these things are there are a lot of minuses there, but I got to give what's right, George. They see George. He's agreeing with me. He's like the Pepsi Coke challenge. I know George is a Pepsi man. I want 5-1 for that parlay. Then I'll give you a sniff. 362. I need more, Scott. Sorry, but I like it though. Good luck to you.
They take their piece out of this, George, for sure. They really do kind of correlate just a little bit more than what they should.
Yeah, I'm buying a pie and there's 2 slivers out of it. I don't appreciate that. Give me my whole piece.
Yeah, it's not enough for me. I say first thing I saw, only 362, not enough for me. Listen, the Canucks are going to win the game. I'm on the Canucks as well tonight. I don't see how that happens. Under 5.5 scares me a little bit. Let's say the Blackhawks score a goal. I'll give them a goal. Vancouver can score a 5 or 6 very easy. I know they're not scoring of late, so I wonder if that's where you're going with this. But that worries me a little bit here. Going for no goal first 5 minutes, fine. Chicago, I already said I think Chicago scores a goal, so I think they're under 2.5. If they get the 2, you're probably in trouble here, by the way, because then you're probably going to get the 6. Both teams not both teams won't score in the first period. I'm okay with that too. My worry for you is that Vancouver lights it up tonight.
Yeah, Chicago's been pretty stingy. And, they can't score a lick, but, they've actually played halfway decent defense. So, Mrazek's been okay. Gave him a nice fat new contract extension. So, he's been okay. And I did see, by the way, guys, that maybe Connor Bedard's going to come back in a week or so. I don't know. If I'm the Blackhawks, I think I'm shutting him down and just saying, you know what? Let's finish with one of the first 3 worst records and guarantee ourselves a top 3 spot.
I wouldn't shut him
get
down.
That anyway. Whether he
yeah,
plays or
George
not.
is right. You know what, Scott? I agree with part of what you said. As a young player, I think getting any type of NHL experience is really important. As guys that I know that used to beat me up and play in the NHL, it's just one of those things. The more games you play, the better you get. So I think you limit Bedard's minutes, kind of like what the Spurs do with Wembanyama. You let him play,
right?
You let him do his thing, and then you kind of you gauge him. If there's any type of minor injury, you keep him out. We're seeing the big picture here, but I think George and I will tell you, you can't shut him down. You let him play, but you don't work him to death. He's an asset. But I think playing is good for him as a young guy.
If he was coming back from a torn ACL or, a big-time knee injury, an Achilles injury, a torn calf, hamstring, whatever, I could probably be more on board with this. But it's a broken jaw. All right, you got to let him play. He's got to play, and they're not going to win enough games. They'll be in the mix for once again to get the top pick or top 3 pick, whatever it might be, when they do all the ping pong balls there. They're not going to win enough games with or without Bedard.
What do you like on the board tonight, George? Anything games that are going on?
I liked a lot of things tonight so far. It's all right. It's been an all right night. I mean, I was on the Islanders tonight. Or I am on the Islanders tonight, but they're still losing here 1-0. Hopefully, Seattle starts to feel the grind of playing on that back-to-back nights in the second, third period here. Although so disappointed, the Islanders had a 4-minute power play to end the first period and just looked sluggish there. Didn't get it done there. I'm on the Avalanche tonight, so let's see if they're winning 4-2. I think I'm on the over in Toronto against St. Louis. Took St. Louis because I don't think Toronto should be a 2-1 favorite over them there. I had the over in the Buffalo game, although if you would have told me it was Buffalo scoring 5 goals, I would have been very surprised here. I thought LA might be the team that was up 4-2 in this game, not getting shellacked here. And the late games here we're talking about, I think I heard Cam say during the break that he's taking the over in Edmonton, which I'm happy to hear because I've been juggling this, Cam, trying to figure out.
Too.
Do I want to go with the over here? Do I want to go with the over? And I'm feeling over tonight. I'm feeling over in this game, even though
Why?
the
Are
Edmonton
you
played
guys
much better
nuts?
defensively.
13, both you clowns, 13-1 under Edmonton last 14 games.
I know,
How
Scott.
are you playing
It's
over
a trend.
with a team that's
It can
13-1
change.
under?
Scott, this is not a grade 6 ladies basketball game here where the girls I know are scoring under 17 points. The Edmonton Oilers are capable of scoring 4 or 5 against Detroit.
Yeah, my
I
wife's
admit.
capable of cooking, but does she do it? No. I don't need capabilities. I need abilities. I need progress. I need
my mom
pots
said
and
to my
pans.
girlfriend, first time she met my girlfriend, Lisa knows her way around a microwave.
Wow.
Is that not amazing? Yeah, no, she would. No, I was how she. It was a joke, but it was. I got to give Joanne credit. She's got zingers. Wetzel, I understand. Here's the deal. George and I are just looking at this from the perspective of the Red Wings can score too, and Edmonton can.
Yeah.
I know the trends say under. Sometimes we take a leap of faith. Like it's just one of those things. George, I'm not going bananas on it, and Scott brings up good points. Skinner's been good, and the Oilers have changed their attack style, but I see kind of like a 5-3 game here tonight, Scott. Maybe I'm wrong, and if it goes under, I'll give you kudos. I'll give you kudos anyway, but I think me and Kurtz, it's Pepsi versus Coke tonight, 2 versus 1. We're on the Oilers. We're on the over tonight, Wetzel, but God bless you.
All right, how about this? Do you guys, and I don't, but do you guys buy into the streak is broken, so whatever happened to break the streak is going to happen again? Meaning that they had their 16-game win streak snapped last game, right? They lose, so
2 games ago.
you have
two
that
ago.
deflating moment, and then you lose again.
Who did it happen with? I forget who it was. It was
they
in
lost
basketball.
to Vegas, and then they lost to the Kings.
Yes.
And they got shut out by the Kings. I think they come out strong tonight at home. This is one of the reasons why I want to go the over. I think they come out strong tonight at home. So it's partly a gut feel because, Scott, there's no doubt all the numbers are going to point in your direction that it's the under. But Detroit, as Cam said, and I agree, Detroit can score some goals. I think they're scoring at 2, maybe 3. And which I think they score more than that, by the way. And it's again gets a shootout here. I told Ranieri on Game Time, I wanted to take the over, and then I was going to lean to see what you guys are going to say in this game. But at worst, I would watch. I'm going to watch the game. Watch the first 5 minutes, see how it's going here, and then maybe the right play is take the in-game over here. If no one scores, and get a better number there. So I can go that direction too. But this is a gut feel. I just think goals are coming tonight in Detroit. Edmonton. I think Edmonton might open it up a little bit more after losing back-to-back games.
All right, how about this, guys? How about that's another hunch, but this is against the grain. I know. Not many times I like to bet on a team that's down 5 goals, but we got a new head coach in L.A. His team played like crap for 2 periods. I got to believe he's reading them the riot act. How about the Kings plus 4.5 goals, plus 128, down 5-0 at Buffalo?
You know what, Scott? I'm not going to argue it, but I almost think when you're down 5-0, even against the Sabres in Buffalo, I think the Kings are already going to the next destination. Buffalo doesn't get to beat up teams very often. And trust me, I've been to a million Sabre games. Like when you're beating a team 5-0, they're partying in the streets of Buffalo right now. Like it's going to be madness tonight. They get murdered all the time. Like, right, George? Like it seems very tempting, but I'm not like, no, it's not. I have no problem with the play. I have no problem with the play. The problem is when you're down, it's not 3 or 4, it's 5. They might, I know a lot of hockey guys don't tap out, but that's a big hill to climb. And even if they do come back and get one,
right? Is he get allowed
what do
to
you
tap
think,
out?
George? What do you think?
I kind of listen. The way you're hee-hawing back and forth, I'm the same way as you. I can really go on both sides here. I see where Scott's going, but I also go see where Cam's going. I kind of lean towards Cam that maybe they are tapping out. They're already on. Okay, who are we playing next? It's over. It's 5-0. The game we lost. All right, we're not coming back here. There is no points. So you make it 5-2. I don't mind the play. Like I said, you want to play a small amount? Fine. I wouldn't go any more than a half a unit. Even that's probably more than I would go here. Throw $10 on it to see what happens here, since it is plus money. But I don't feel it here. You know, if I was having a terrible night and I was like, oh, well, I'm just throwing money at something. I got to win something here. Maybe. I'm not going to do this, although it wouldn't shock me if the final score is 5-1, 6-2. But I don't know. I'm just not feeling it. And this team, remember, other than they beat Edmonton 4-0 on Saturday, they've been bad. Just been bad. I don't know if they're going to care about a period of play.
Scott, what'd you get Indiana State at in college basketball?
18 earlier today. Illinois
dude,
State.
They're down. Yes, you got Illinois State. They're winning by 10 outright. Do you have the money line?
Wow. I wish I would have put them on the. I did the money line while we were on the air at plus 340 for a couple shekels, but I put them in at plus 18 earlier in the game. I didn't even look at the money line.
Hello?
I wonder
who is this? Convener of the women's grade 4 to 6 game. Scott's out. He's won a lot of money. See ya. Find a replacement. Click. Honestly, Scott, if you took them on money line as 18-point dogs, what was the money line at the start of the game? Almost unavailable.
I don't know.
It was so big. And Dayton's come back.
It might not have been.
Everything we're talking
Maybe that's
about
why
is
they recognize
happening.
it.
Well, we're not betting on it all. God, I got to do this show every night. That late night show with Morency, too many games are done. That's the problem. We're East Coast guys. I can't just deal with the West Coast card. I want the whole damn day.
What a lock that was. What a lock that was.
You know what, Wetzel? You get the Barry Horowitz tonight. The pat on the back. Great pick. Great pick. Give yourself a pat on. Dude, you took an 18-point dog outright. They're winning by 10? That's crazy, bro. Great pick. See, you deserve respect. Your family's not going to give it to you, Wetzel? I will.
No. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I love you. All right, George, we haven't done this show together, too. I'm used to seeing George in the late night hours. George, this is early for you tonight, right? Before you take the dog for a walk. It's nice. 8:51. Yeah. This is beautiful.
Dog's going for a walk around 11:30, by the way. 11:30 Eastern time, dog goes for a walk. We'll go in the snow here.
Anything live, guys, in hockey? I took that 4.5 in Anaheim, Montreal. I need 2 goals there. I'll tell you, guys, Scott, you want trends and tips?
Yeah.
Ottawa Senators games, if they leave at 6.5, I would bet the over in every single one of them till the day I die.
Every time.
They were
they don't know how to play a game. They'll give you 5. They'll give up 7. They'll score 4. The other team will get 3. It's just they just don't know how to play a 2-1 game. There's no defense there. And
they don't have defense. Their goaltending is flawed, and they can score goals. Ottawa's great for overs. Yeah, absolutely great. Great for in-game overs as well.
They got good young players on their team. Once they figure it out on the back end and goaltending, Ottawa's going to be good. But we've been saying this for years, haven't we, George?
Yeah, unfortunately we have here. Hey, it's still good for us, right? I don't care if they're bad NHL-wise. As long as I can bet on them and them being somewhat consistent with the overs, I'll take them here. And Forsberg was in net tonight as well. The goalie hasn't played in a couple of months.
He reeks. Just like all
New Jersey plus 2-1 or Carolina plus 2-1, George? Or your Islanders. But that's locked right now.
It's locked.
I'd probably go. I'm not going to. I'm on the under in this game. I think it was 1-0 when Fleury came on here. I think I would go Carolina. Really good team. Down. It's going to be a low-scoring game. Bounce here, bounce there. I'll go Carolina. Islanders will be next.
What do you think about my theory? Both teams down 1-0. They're over plus 200. You bet them both. 1 wins, you make money.
Wins, you make money, right? That's all we need to make. Yeah. I don't mind it.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's probably the way to go. No goal, first 5 minutes, Vancouver, Chicago, our same game parlay.
Yeah, there you go, Wetzel. One
step
leg down.
4 to go.
4 to go.
Cha-ching. We'll talk to you tomorrow, George. You and I, football full circle. Be there.
Oh, George has got to go. I wish you could stay.
Scoring 19.7 points per game, 13.1 rebounds, and 8.2 assists. How can a center that is top 50 in scoring, first in rebounding, 7th in assists, and 8th in field goal percentage not make the All-Star team? That is such a huge snub for Domantas Sabonis.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Over $200 million in the state of New York in sports betting, half of that going to the state. All thumbs up, I guess, across the board here, right?
Yeah, New York just continues to be the standard bearer for the industry. People are betting a ton on NFL. We've still got March Madness coming up. This is really the prime time for the U.S. sports calendar with the NFL playoffs, Super Bowl, and then, college basketball, NBA, NHL in full swing.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
What are you thinking overall, kind of first reaction here? Patrick Mahomes, his legacy.
I don't know how far his drive is. Is his drive to become known as the greatest quarterback of all time? I don't think matching Super Bowls will really do that. I think there'll always be, the Brady people will always say, listen, it's a different era.
Football Full Circle, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network.
We'll look at the Heisman Trophy
The early
race
line.
and what it all means. Individual success.
You should have tried to get something for Anthony Rendon. Not bought at the deadline.
Newswire.
We're getting a lot of news, trades, cuts, and some movement in terms of starting quarterback,
Pharrell
backup quarterback.
coast to coast.
I want to watch great players make buckets and win games.
Game time
You have
decisions.
no idea what the heck the Blazers are doing and what they
In-game live.
Just
Prime
took 'em
time.
yard for a grand slam.
In the bottom of the fourth inning in a 12-2 baseball game. We got football scores going on at Wrigley right now.
Sports Rage
That was good
Late
betting.
Night.
We waited for a 1.5. We got paid.
We did.
Did like the 2.5. Jumped on
There's
it.
no taking weeks off in golf betting ever. These are the best weeks to bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in-game live, PrimeTime here. It's a beautiful thing. We gave out our first official winner, Cam, and we got little, Cam and I, we make things sometimes over the top and then little subtle throw-ins. I told you I love the under 140.5 Virginia and Pittsburgh, right? It was a monster pace. I get that, but they were giving you a 30-point cushion with 8 minutes left. So anyway, long story short, ends up falling at 137. So a nice little winner there.
Nice.
Virginia loses, but yeah. So had a decent amount on that one. Not bad. Definitely take
Scott,
that.
just quickly before your thing, you can't lose with me. You took an 18-point dog winning outright.
I know.
The floor is yours.
Yeah. Okay, you know what? Let's do a little same game parlay action, and how about some black cloud action right now? Oh, yes. We all know it's been a while. We were off last week. So the black cloud is extra, extra, extra powerful tonight. No two ways about it. So where are we going to go? Hockey. Despite what the two bird brains were telling you before the break, we're going to go under Edmonton, Detroit. You do not buck certain trends. 13-1 under. Edmonton last 14 games, 6-3 under last 9 games for the Detroit Red Wings. This has got 2-1, maybe 3-1 written all over it. Edmonton's all tired. They were shut out their last game. Yeah, I'm sure that they'll come out strong, but they also gave up 4 goals their last game. So I'm sure they're going to be extra tight on the defensive side of things. Under 6.5, you're getting slight odds in some books as well on that one. I'm in. Black Cloud officially in.
Honestly, Scott, if we ever do shows together, like, we got to get more of this stuff. I love the Wetzel, like the same game parlays, the dark clouds. It's awesome. Next time when I get a heads up, because it was pretty quick, because Sussman just called me, but we're going to put together like literally a portfolio of crazy stuff. You know what? The trend says it's your friend, but I just have it's a vibe play for me. I'm taking the over, but I wish you luck. Small play for me.
All right, good enough. That's a balanced ticket, as we like to say.
Yes.
welcome back. It is In-Game Live Prime Time, hour number 2 of our 2-hour extravaganza. Scott Wetzel, Cam Stewart until 10 p.m. Eastern Time, betting and winning in the world of sports. Yes, been on fire. We got a couple already winners out there. We got a couple pending here. And keep your fingers crossed. Hopefully we'll get a few more before we are through. So, Cam, for the new viewers, new listeners, what do you got your eyes on and how things going so far tonight for you?
Very good, Scott. I think, can you give me a score on one thing? Because I'm dealing with some live stuff I got going in hockey. I had Vanderbilt plus $1 million. I think they were leading outright. By the way, guys, Scott hit one of the best angles in college basketball. New team in the top 25, fade them. 18-point dog, outright win. Love it. Scott, basically what I'm doing right now, I'm glad you didn't take the Kings. The Sabres just scored again, so it's 6-0. So maybe I saved you a few shekels right there. 2 teams down 1-0 in hockey. This is what we're going to do. We're going to take them live. And a 1-goal lead, Scott will tell you in hockey, it's nothing. So Carolina and New Jersey, and they're both over 2-1 live. That's what we're going to do there. Scott, I haven't got into the college basketball with you, but it's something to think about. I'm really having a problem with this Nevada-New Mexico game, one of the more under-the-radar games tonight. I'm leaning Nevada, but I'd like your opinion. But that's what I'm doing in hockey, and I'm taking also a parlay. Oilers to win, and I'll take the over 6.5. It pays plus 138.
All right. Vandy, 48 seconds left, Cam. Leading 72-71 over Texas A&M. How about that? I hit with Indiana State or Illinois State. You hit with Vandy. 1-9. Want
to hear my angle? This is my angle.
What was that?
Somebody will go, "You're an idiot. Vanderbilt sucks." And I'll say, okay. Yes, that's what they have point spreads for, numbnuts. And another thing is they have huge games on deck. This is the whole beautiful thing. Like, people are like, oh, this good team, because they're going to do this, they're going to win all the time. It's not the way sports gambling works. Bad teams win, bad teams cover. It's about, Scott, and we've talked about it tonight, situations. I like betting on bad teams in good situations. And I thought Texas A&M was in a real bad spot tonight. So, hey, you did it. You did it. You played a great angle with a newly minted team going to the top 25. It's a fade job. Another thing is, you know this in college basketball and football. When a team goes from like a 6 to a number 1, I like to actually fade them as well. When a team gets into the number 1 hole and starts reading their press, it's an auto fade for me.
Yeah. I like it. I like it a lot. Definitely. You're right. No better way of putting it. That's why they have point spreads, and believe you me, if one was an absolute lock, the point spread would be even higher. So they have point spreads to balance things out. So, boy, what would that parlay have been, guys? Here's your first assignment there, Frank. See if you can find out a money line parlay. What happened?
No, I'm thinking of Scott. Okay. I'm thinking about it. I just my heart fluttered with
Illinois State
and Vanderbilt in college basketball. Yeah. Tell me what me and Scott would have got on $50 on a money line parlay like that. You know what I'd be saying? And up next, Joe Madden. See ya. Me and Scott. I'll fly to New York and I'll meet you for a cold one.
Exactly.
I guarantee. What do you think it is? It's over 100-1. Wow. Is it? It's got to be.
Oh yeah, has to be right. I mean, let me see if I can find a game for tomorrow that have similar point spreads. Let me go to.
You know what the worst is? We didn't play. I took the points too. This is a lesson to all our friends out there too. Shout out to Johnny Roast Beef and the crew, because I know I don't do this, Chef Scott. Big fans of your work too. He's like, he tweeted us 2 of the best in the biz. Very, very kind to say something like Johnny. I appreciate it. But this is a lesson again. Don't get sidetracked by situations in life, Scott. We have to say we bet even $100 on the game. Okay, say we bet $100. You have to put $10 on the money line. I don't even care if it's +8. You know what I mean? This is a lesson learned. These double-digit dogs can win. They can win outright.
What was Vandy's line today? Like 9.5, 10, something
like
that?
I think it was 10 flat on mine, or 9.5. Let me double check. But yeah, I think it closed at 10, but it was big, very big. And yours was even bigger.
All right. Yeah. I got one that's similar to the Illinois State one. Let me see if I can find a 10-pointer. And then I'll tell you what the parlay. That was pretty close. 11.5. I'll use that one.
Come on. You know what, Scott? I should be a guest on your show when we do our segment at 9:40 every day when I do my night show. We got to come up with the Wetzel Cam doghouse, like dirty dog, whatever money line parlay of the night.
Parlay.
Yeah,
I used to know when I was hosting the morning show, I would do when lightning strikes parlay, and I would grab like 3 or 4 monster underdogs, and I'd say, there's got to be one night, just one night out of this year where you're going to get 3 or 4 monster underdogs to all win. So never did win.
It's been happening
but I
a
will
lot
tell
in college basketball, though, Scott. Remember earlier this year, I can name like 20 games. UNLV was a 17-point or 18-point favorite.
Air
lost
Force.
outright. Air Force. This is happening all the time now. The problem is,
I had UNLV that night. Dope. Air Force won that game.
I remember. I did your show. You're like, you know what, McCann? There's no way UNLV. It's like, here comes the tornado. Yeah, but hey, you made up for it tonight by taking the 18-point dog to win outright. That's the thing about college basketball. We all forget they're kids. We don't know what's going to happen. It's tough.
Yep. About 140 to 1. That parlay, if I'm using games of the same odds or similar odds to those two games, put them in a parlay, it comes out to 140 to 1. Wow.
Did you say 140?
$10?
Did you say
even a $10 parlay? Yeah. Would give you $1,500, $1,400.
I'd probably put I usually do for those anywhere like 25, 30, something. Oh my God. Okay. Yeah. Let's move on, Scott. What do we got coming up? We can't live in the past.
Yeah. Get that out of our brain. We got too much positivity going on to think negativity like what we could have, should have done. We'll just accept the fact that we had those games. That's all.
It's true. And by the way, North Carolina's losing to Syracuse. Glad we didn't touch that trapdoor special. It's funny. The Dayton game, they came back and murdered. But what do you think of this North Carolina team? I'm not really down with their program. They've been very, let's just say, it's like Kansas. I told Gabe last night, I don't care. Kansas is not winning the national championship. They can't win road games. They lose to Kansas State.
Too inconsistent.
They lose to Texas Tech. Asking them to win 4 games in a row is stupid. Like, you know what I mean? They're a good team, but you got to find consistency, like moving forward in the NCAA, right? Like a team like UConn, I can trust them winning a game on the road. I don't trust Kansas.
Right.
That's my opinion, Scott.
What's his face getting kicked out for the first time? How about that?
Who, Dickinson?
Bill Self.
Oh, Bill
Self.
Oh, yeah, Bill Self.
Got
kicked out. Good. You know what? Those guys in Kansas, you watch a home game, the other team might as well not even show up. They get like 3-1 calls against the other team. They go on the road where things are right, they get murdered. Texas Tech took them out to the woodshed yesterday.
We were 29.
No, they killed
29.
Yeah, exactly.
I like 2 late games. I do like Nevada in the game against New Mexico. That should be a good game. Love the Mountain West. And believe it or not, I'll explain when we come back. I actually am going to put some shekels on San Jose State laying 3.5 against that beloved Air Force team, who has won 1 game in their last 14. And then that was the game I bet against them. I swear to God. So it may happen again. I don't know, but I do like San Jose.
That's funny.
Scoring 19.7 points per game, 13.1 rebounds, and 8.2 assists. How can a center that is top 50 in scoring, first in rebounding, 7th in assists, and 8th in field goal percentage not make the All-Star team? That is such a huge snub for Domantas Sabonis.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Over $200 million in the state of New York in sports betting, half of that going to the state. All thumbs up, I guess, across the board here, right?
Yeah, New York just continues to be the standard bearer for the industry. People are betting a ton on NFL. We've still got March Madness coming up. This is really the prime time for the U.S. sports calendar with the NFL playoffs, Super Bowl, and then, college basketball, NBA, NHL in full swing.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
What are you thinking overall, kind of first reaction here? Patrick Mahomes, his legacy.
I don't know how far his drive is. Is his drive to become known as the greatest quarterback of all time? I don't think matching Super Bowls will really do that. I think there'll always be, the Brady people will always say, listen, it's a different era.
Football Full Circle, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network.
We'll look at the Heisman
The
Trophy
early
race
line.
and what it all means. Individual success.
You should have tried to get something for Anthony Rendon. Not bought at the deadline.
Newswire.
We're getting a lot of news, trades, cuts, and some movement in terms of starting quarterback,
Pharrell
backup quarterback.
coast to coast.
I want to watch great players make buckets and win games.
Game time
I have
decisions.
no idea what the heck the Blazers are doing and what they
In-game live.
Just
Prime
took 'em
time.
yard for a grand slam.
The bottom of the fourth inning in a 12-2 baseball game. We got football scores going on at Wrigley right now.
Sports
That
Rage
was good
Late
betting.
Night.
We waited for a 1.5. We got paid
We did.
information. Didn't like the 2.5. Jumped on
There's
it.
no taking weeks off in golf betting ever. These are the best weeks to bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. In-game live, prime time. Scott Wetzel and Cam Stewart, right up until 10 p.m. Eastern time. Full 45, 50 minutes to go. A lot of action. We get the more scores here in the NHL. 7-0, Cam, Buffalo over the LA Kings. I mean, you already fired your head coach. This is how you respond to a head coach getting fired. You know, one game, you get the one win, one game later. My goodness. And then your Maple Leafs back on the board.
There's a fire in Tonawanda, and the Sabres beat the Kings 7-0. I'm Irv Weinstein. It's 9:12 Eastern. Do you know where your children are? Merry Christmas, Buffalo. La 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 Fontaine. Let's go, Buffalo. Good for the Sabres. Sorry, Scott. I had to do that.
That's an 11. That was pretty good. We got to get that for a promo. That's an 11-goal swing, right? LA wins 4-0 their last game, and now they're losing 7-0. An 11-game or goal swing. They're actually giving you odds. You know, 6.5 plus
Sabres win this
258.
year. This is their best. I know because I follow the team too because they're hosting. Like they have not beat anybody 7-0 this year, let alone the Los Angeles Kings. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Shocker. Throw that in our parlay. Kings alternate goal line with our two college dogs. We'll tell Cardano, me and Wetzel, hey, Mike, we're calling you from a coconut. We're on an island. See you next week.
Yeah.
It's just like, man, we could have made some money tonight. Who saw that one coming?
Got another goal.
Where?
Got another goal on the Canadians. You need one
That's
more
a winner.
now, right?
3.5 with the juice, right, Scotty? Right?
I got it 4.5. Yeah, I put it in like 2 minutes later. It was up to 4.5 plus odds.
Don't worry, Scott. Lots of time left. We're a
Still
team
got time.
tonight. Wetzel and Stewart. It's the Under Armour New Balance hour, baby. We're ready to go. We're going to win money. You know what? You're going to go home and your wife's going to go, hey, Scott, how was tonight? Oh, hi. Rough night at the office. Lost a few. As you just like collect stacks, put it in your personal safe. Hide it. Right, Scott? In a secret compartment.
Exactly.
That's your money.
That's my money. That's the play money. So, in fact, I won a pool. I won a regular season. Well, I actually came in third place. I won't mention the name, but I came in third place. I'm still waiting for my third place check, boys. We want to speed up on that a little bit there. But that's also kind of be our play money. I need a goal out of the Bruins.
I'm not going to name names, but I need the money now. Like put a rush on.
Guys
it,
watching, write that check.
Yeah.
I'm patient. How patient should I be?
Is this for the NFL
It was a regular season pool, Cam. So and he's a very nice guy. I won't mention names again. You know him. I know him. So when do I contact him again and say, it's been 5 weeks now?
1 week. I will give it a week after the Super Bowl. If you are not contacted by Monday morning of after this week, the call's out.
That's it.
I had to do that too. And there's nothing worse than putting a guy like you in a position. You owe me the money, man. It's not like you should be saying it's cool. Now you make me look like the bad guy. Give me my money. That's why when you're in leagues and stuff, you have to have a commissioner that has a good job, doesn't have a drug or alcohol addiction, and is like a guy that doesn't have a woman that like is going to like steal things for. Like, you need to really be careful because, like, Scott, I'm in some pools where like it's $1,000 entry and stuff. Like, it's serious stuff. These guys are holding on to big chunks of money. Like, don't give it to some guy who's a fly-by-nighter. It's actually, I know this sounds insane, but it's serious business. I've had commissioners run away with money before. He's got $40,000 for the league. He's out the door. We don't know what problems he has.
Yeah, you do. You really have to trust your people. I mean, I trust them.
Yeah.
I just,
Yeah.
it's like, you know.
It's like, hurry up.
And listen, I run a lot of pools, and sometimes it takes 2, 3, 4 days to, to do. You get other responsibilities, but this has been 5 weeks. It's like, So, all right. I'm rooting out the Bruins. We need to go out of the Bruins tonight. 2-2 against Tampa Bay. They never beat Tampa Bay. I hope they don't face them in the postseason.
You know what, though, Scott?
Tampa Bay.
I'll tell you about the Bruins. They were down 2-0 in that game. It's almost in order. When Boston's down 2 goals against everybody, they might lose, but they're probably going to lose by 2 max, by 1 and an empty netter. If you can ever get a 2.5 with juice, you take it.
Right.
Boston's just that good. They don't get blown out.
Yeah, it is rare. Ooh, Devils tie up Nashville 1-1.
Oh, Scott,
there you go.
You. Greg,
how about that?
Sussman, are you listening? Nothing against Sherapan. He's my guy, but this is my new slot. I'm with Scott now. If we would ever
we
bet
do
tonight,
bring
Scott,
a lot of luck. Yeah. Little Lady Luck Red here. And
that's what we are, Scott. Like, me and you on our own, we're Mike Mush and Larry Lemon, but we put our, like,
but together, it's like two
opposites.
opposites.
Yeah, together we become like the opposite of them.
A positive. Yeah, it's like science back in high school here, which I hated.
Yeah, we're Mickey Magnet now. We're money magnets instead of lemons and mushes. Like, this is great. Let's go. More winners, please. Oh, I can't wait to collect from
Vancouver
the bar on these losers.
1-0 after 1.
Oh, perfect. So your under's intact.
Second leg of my parlay is intact. Now, both teams did not score in the first period, so I like to highlight. I write them on my sheet here, and I bold them, and then the ones that win, I take the bold off. So both teams to score first period, no. So I need Vancouver under 5.5 and Chicago under 2.5 goals, and we'll cash that ticket.
I'm going to tell you, Scott, I thought you had another leg down too. So you had no goals in the first 5 minutes. Vancouver leading after 20. Wasn't there another one that you hit too? Or is it only 2 right now?
No. Okay. Vancouver regulation I had.
Okay. Well, it's off to a great start.
Yeah. So, not bad. Yeah, this Chicago team, I tell you. I don't know when they'll ever flip it, Cam, to 1.5 goals team total. I don't know. Would they really do that? I guess they could, but they just, you look at their games, and I mentioned it before. I'll give the exact numbers, but it's like 1 or nothing. That's all they score. Since Bedard has gone out, 13 games. They actually won the first game 4-3, so I don't know how. But they did win the first one 4-3. But since then, they have scored 1, 1, 1, 2, 0, 4 against the Dopey Islanders in overtime. They got the poor Islander head coach fired. 0, 2, 0, 0, 1, and then 3 against the Rangers in overtime. They should face New York teams all the time.
I think they're, like, I watch a lot of hockey, and we got to pay attention to this stuff. Mrazek was an absolute stiff. Like, remember he had injuries and stuff all the time? Remember he played in Carolina? They get rid of him.
Carolina,
he was the worst Leaf goalie we ever had. Like, he had hamstring. I don't know what happened. Like, he got a rehab guy or went to a really good doctor. I've been watching this guy play. A team that needs a goaltender, I would take a shot with Mrazek. I think he's actually kind of found something from his earlier days.
They just re-signed him, though, Cam. They resigned him 2 weeks ago.
And good call. Sorry, Scott. You're right. But I've also
they can
watched
still trade him, though.
Yeah. But I'm saying, have you seen Markstrom play for Calgary? The Rangers would have won that game by 9 goals against any other goaltender. I watched it front to back. That guy in Calgary has been the last 14 games. I'm telling you, if you're a team, the Los Angeles Kings need to go, hey, Calgary, we'll give you a couple draft picks. Like, they'll overpay. They need a goaltender. They can't win with the guys they got now. I'm sorry. You cannot win with Cam Talbot and what's his face? Who's that young guy? Anyway, it's escaping me right now. But you know what I'm talking about? You have that much talent.
Right.
Like the Buffalo Sabres got 7 on you tonight. It's a regular occurrence. They're not good.
Yeah.
Their defense is old and their goaltending reeks. They're a lot like the Leafs, but they're tougher.
I thought maybe the Bruins would trade Olmark. You know, Swayman had a little run there where he was actually going to be the number 1 goalie. Now it's kind of back to Olmark, 50-50, but you don't.
Scott,
I mean,
you
you
know
need
the
2
best
goalies,
goaltenders in the world,
but you don't need 2 goalies in the
All-American?
postseason.
Like, take a look at Canada. We used to rule hockey. I can name 5 American goalies that are better than any Canadian goalie. Any of them.
Right.
They're all USA guys. Like your goaltending moving. Everybody. Hellebuck's a Yank. Ottinger. All those guys. You guys have the best goalies going. Who's our goalie? Carter Hart. Now he's charged by the London police in that Canadian sex scandal stuff for the juniors. Like, Canada's got no goalies, man. Like, USA hockey looks good.
Kind of weird, for sure.
It really is.
All right, in-game live. Take a quick little break. Right back to the scoreboard when we return here on the Grid.
Scoring 19.7 points per game, 13.1 rebounds, and 8.2 assists. How can a center that is top 50 in scoring, first in rebounding, 7th in assists, and 8th in field goal percentage not make the All-Star team? That is such a huge snub for Domantas Sabonis.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Over $200 million in the state of New York in sports betting, half of that going to the state. All thumbs up, I guess, across the board here, right?
Yeah, New York just continues to be the standard bearer for the industry. People are betting a ton on NFL. We've still got March Madness coming up. This is really the prime time for the U.S. sports calendar with the NFL playoffs, Super Bowl, and then college basketball, NBA, NHL in full swing.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
What are you thinking overall, kind of first reaction here? Patrick Mahomes, his legacy.
I don't know how far his drive is. Is his drive to become known as the greatest quarterback of all time? I don't think matching Super Bowls will really do that. I think there'll always be, the Brady people will always say, listen, it's a different era.
Football Full Circle, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network.
We'll look at the Heisman Trophy
The early
race
line.
and what it all means. Individual success.
You should have tried to get something for Anthony Rendon. Not bought at the deadline.
Newswire.
We're getting a lot of news, trades, cuts, and some movement in terms of starting quarterbacks,
Pharrell
backup quarterbacks.
coast to coast.
I want to watch great players make buckets and win games.
Game time
I have
decisions.
no idea what the heck the Blazers are doing and what they need.
In-game live.
Just
Prime
took 'em
time.
yard for a grand slam.
The bottom of the 4th inning in a 12-2 baseball game. We got football scores going on at Wrigley right now.
Sports Rage
That was
Late
good betting.
Night.
We waited for the 1.5. We got paid.
We
for
did.
patient, didn't like the 2.5. Jumped on
There's
it.
no taking weeks off in golf betting ever. These are the best weeks to bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. It is In-Game Live, prime time here on the move. Hour number 2, 25 past the hour. Boy, flying along here, looking at a little NHL, a little college basketball. I haven't really touched that much, Cam, on NBA. And I find myself, and honestly, I'm doing very well. The boys in Vegas, the guys on the podcast know that with our NBA picks. But I have the least confidence in my NBA picks that I do, even though I'm doing fairly well, that I do in the NHL and in college basketball. So when I have a full slate, I gravitate to NHL and college basketball. And NBA is almost like an afterthought, unless there's some great angle that I really, really love. Because you don't know what you're getting in the NBA regular season. Who's playing, who's not playing, who really wants to play, even if they are playing. It's a very difficult thing, even in-game live stuff. So, but we'll take a look at it. I did like OKC a little bit tonight. So they're up 15.
I couldn't agree with you more. Scott, that's exactly what I do. When I look at the card, I'm like NHL college. I'll look at the NBA and go, maybe, yes, make some comments, like if I watch a game before or whatever, because I find it very volatile. The one thing I know about the NBA, though, it's almost like it's illogical. Whatever you think makes sense, it doesn't make sense. Like you'll take a crap. Yeah. That's what I'm talking. Like, you know what I mean? Like Charlotte. Yeah. You're like, they got no chance. 13-point underdogs win outright. Like you almost have to look at the NBA in a sense of what would a normal person do and do the opposite.
Yeah.
But it's true.
So inconsistent. so really like, it's just, unbelievable. I don't know. It's tough, but I've had success. I must say. Yep. But it's coming in. A lot more unders are coming in the NBA.
You're right.
I will say that high, crazy scoring pace that we had, it has slowed down a little bit. It had to have. It was getting ridiculous. Every over under was posted at 240 or higher, and it was still going over 135 to 125. So it's come back to the pack a little bit. Got a couple of games starting top of the hour. Another one, it is a big number. We got the Sacramento and the Phoenix Suns, 245. I mean, if this was, a month or two earlier, I'd be on the over, but I think I'm going to go on the under on this one. And
this is Wetzel
I don't know
line
if LeBron's
too.
Playing or not.
Scott, I want you to pick up some groceries on the. Sorry, honey. Montreal just won 5-0. I'm going out. Going out for table for one. Winner for you, buddy. Winner for me.
Beautiful.
Oh, you know what, Scott? You could take that graphic of the dark cloud and call it Wetzel and Stewart's sunny day. That's
sunny
what it
day.
is. Yeah, we should have like a thing of like a tornado and then like sun. We push it away and with all like just beautiful, beautiful lights. Oh man, we nailed that game. Every
what we
which
should
way.
do? Next time we work, we'll get a graphic guy, right? We'll have a tornado black cloud on one side, tornado black cloud on the left side, and then have it merged together. And then when it hits, like automatically go to a sun. It's the two dark, means meet in the middle, and it turns into a little sunshine.
I love it. Well, congrats, Scott. Yeah. So we both hit that game. Everybody at the local bar now owes me a drink. I'm just going to say, if you don't want to buy, just give me a mitt, $10 from each guy. Leaves just 4-1. So, hey, the ice has been nice so far, buddy. Let's keep the train rolling with some late college basketball.
Yeah. I'm gonna go San Jose, and I'm gonna go Nevada. I just, they're at home. Mountain West, the home teams have had a lot of success in the Mountain West. And this is, I will say, a suspiciously low number in that you got a lot of good teams in the Mountain West, Cam. And the numbers have been really high, like 6.5, 7.5. It's like, oh, man, I really don't want to lay 7.5 to San Diego State or New Mexico or Boise State, But this one's a little smaller. This one's only 3.5. So I'm going to grab Nevada minus the 3.5. What about you?
I'm with you. We're a team tonight. I think Nevada's the play. I really worry about New Mexico, though, because they're one of those teams, like, they can kind of grind on the road, but they're a very dangerous team at the pit. But I think Nevada at home will find a way. I think that number kind of tells you, too. Didn't it open 1.5, I think? Like, I think a lot of people, like, they're betting Nevada, but I think there's going to be some comeback on New Mexico. I'm with you. I think Nevada wins the game, and I'm going to ride your San Jose Spartan pick too. I think that's a good vibe. We're reading each other's mail tonight. I'm going to take. How about we do? Yeah, Nevada's 1.5, Scott. It's yes, I'm in.
Down to 1.5.
Nevada. Yeah, I'm in, man. I'm in, and give me San Jose State too. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do both, and I'm going to parlay them both too. How's that sound?
Ooh. All right.
Scott, I don't screw around. I only see you once every 6 years, so let's have fun.
Exactly. we got to have a little piece of the pie here. Definitely. All right, let's put that in. Yeah. I mean, Air Force can't win on the road, right? I mean, they're atrocious.
They can, but I'm going to take both home teams tonight. You know what, Scott? Even if you wanted to take Nevada, it's kind of stupid. You should probably lay points, but a money line parlay with San Jose State and Nevada pays quite well. Like
Let me see what that pays.
Pretty. It's almost like 2-1. I think that's a good play.
Yeah, 192, right?
Yeah, I got 196 on one of my books, so I'm in.
All right, let me log back in. FanDuel always locks me out whenever if I don't hit a button here for 10 seconds.
I gotta say, hey guys, you know what the worst part with the sports book is? Like, I'm not some guy you're shaking down at the side of the road here. Like, I need 5 minutes to regain my thought. Like, the minute I leave, I go get a coffee. You are locked out. It's just, can't we just expand the window just a little bit? Like, can you give me 10?
Yeah, there should be like some preference you could put down. Well, keep my window open for 10 minutes or 8 minutes or 5 minutes.
It's probably in the settings, and me and you are just so stupid we haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah, it probably is. Yeah, someone's out there right now saying, "Yeah, there is, you dope. Just hit this button and boom, there you go." So
we're old guys. Like, you help us.
How'd you do? By the way, how'd you do on the? We didn't get a chance to talk. How'd you do on the Super Bowl? I know you had San Fran, but all the other props and all that other goofiness.
You know what saved my butt, Scott? I teased every side of that game, and it went 4-0. Dog to the over. Dog.
I do that once in a while.
Over 40. 9 under 54. San Fran 5, whatever. I did a show. Don't cross zero. You know what? I'll do whatever the hell I want.
Yeah, you're right. It's stupid.
I'm. You and your programs. You know what you can do with your computer? You can take your floppy disk, and I'm just going to snap it over my knee. If I think the game's going to end within 1 and 4, those are. I thought San Fran. I really thought would win the game by 3 or 4 points. So I bet the winning margin bet too. Either team. So San Fran was plus 320 to win between 1 and 6, and Kansas City was almost 4-1, 1 and 6. I hit that, but I can't lie to you. George Kittle, I had a lot of props on that guy. He really let me down. Yeah, but I hit all my loser guys, like Noah Gray. Like, know what I've learned, Scott? And it's something I think is really important moving forward. In the Super Bowl, take every fringe player. Like Elijah Mitchell, rushing yards, 4.5, over. Juszczyk, over. Jennings for the Niners, over. Every single guy who does nothing, it's a Super Bowl. They'd like to spread it around, right? I hit McCaffrey over his yards, but I'm telling you, I smashed George Kittle stuff. I got murdered there, but I had a pretty good, it's amazing. If San Francisco would have won the game, Scott, I would have made a killing. I did okay.
You know why? It's taken a long while for me to realize that as far as some of those secondary guys can, but you know what it is, I think? These teams have 2 weeks to prepare, right? And everybody has tendencies. So I think these offensive coordinators say, if we just do what we normally would be doing, we're going to get killed because they know what's coming. So let's use McCole Hardman a little bit more. Let's use Juszczyk a little bit more. Let's use Joe Schmo a little bit more, because they're not expecting that because we haven't used them that much. So that they get a little bit more involved in the offense because they know the defense is not expecting it. That's what I think. So
you're right.
I did pretty well. I got to say, I had Kansas City, had the under, as we talked about it before, hit a bunch of props. They were all hunches, Cam. I didn't have a lot of money on it, but all the hunches came in. It's just weird. 7.5 punts over, field goals over. I played the field goals to 5, got odds on that. Nobody scoring in the first 6 minutes, hit that. Goofy things like that. I had the non-quarterback throw a touchdown pass, 35-1 for $10. $10, but I won, $350 on it. So it was a pretty good Super Bowl.
Prop is, Scott? They have this prop every Super Bowl, and it's ridiculous. The juice is even that high. Players to throw a pass 2.5. Any other players but the quarterback.
Yes, I had that.
They all. I'm like, I should have literally gone to a Brinks truck, got my money and bet. I think there was 4 passes. Every Super Bowl, at least one more guy will be. It's the last game of the year. Of course you're going to have a trick play, right? And Jennings threw it to McCaffrey for the touchdown, for God's sake. So little things like that, like the fringe props were pretty good, but man, lesson learned, don't invest in one player. George Kittle, he was an absolute ghost in that game. I thought he was going to be San Francisco's best player. He was hurt, obviously. He had a big, I think he had a shoulder injury, right? Yeah, he looked bad.
Yeah. Hey, think about Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, and Kittle, three best weapons, right? Combined for eight receptions for less than 90 yards. Mm-hmm. Kittle, or excuse me, Kelsey had more, 90 for 93, than those three guys did combined. So obviously the big talk is, Pat Mahomes. How great is Pat Mahomes? Mike DeCourcy, one of our college basketball guys, on with Scotty Farrell this afternoon on Coast to Coast, talking a little bit about how great Mr. Mahomes is. Next segment.
We'll see. Okay?
I'm
going to tell you something. Buffalo Sabres tonight, Scott. History. I'll tell you about it after the break as well. They did something crazy tonight. I'll tell you. It's pretty impressive.
Wow. All right. Need some points out of Kentucky here. I got the over in that game. Basically just underway.
We all need something.
It never ends. All right. Back after this. In-game live. PrimeTime.
Amazing.
Scoring 19.7 points per game, 13.1 rebounds, and 8.2 assists. How can a center that is top 50 in scoring, first in rebounding, 7th in assists, and 8th in field goal percentage not make the All-Star team? That is such a huge snub for Domantas Sabonis.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Over $200 million in the state of New York in sports betting, half of that going to the state. All thumbs up, I guess, across the board here, right?
Yeah, New York just continues to be the standard bearer for the industry. People are betting a ton on NFL. We've still got March Madness coming up. This is really the prime time for the U.S. sports calendar with the NFL playoffs, Super Bowl, and then, college basketball, NBA, NHL in full swing.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
What are you thinking overall, kind of first reaction here? Patrick Mahomes, his legacy.
I don't know how far his drive is. Is his drive to become known as the greatest quarterback of all time? I don't think matching Super Bowls will really do that. I think there'll always be, the Brady people will always say, listen, it's a different era.
Football Full Circle, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network.
We'll look at the Heisman Trophy
The early line.
and what it all means. Individual success.
You should have tried to get something for Anthony Rendon. Not bought at the deadline.
Newswire.
We're getting a lot of news, trades, cuts, and some movement in terms of starting quarterback,
Pharrell,
backup quarterback.
coast to coast.
I want to watch great players make buckets and win games.
Game time
I
decisions.
have no idea what the heck the Blazers are doing and what they
In-game live.
Just
Prime
took 'em
time.
yard for a grand slam.
The bottom of the fourth inning in a 12-2 baseball game. We got football scores going on at Wrigley right now.
Sports Rage
That was
Late
better.
Night.
We waited for the 1.5. We got paid
We
for
did.
information. Didn't like the 2.5. Jumped on
There's
it.
no taking weeks off in golf betting ever. These are the best weeks to bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. In-game live, prime time. We're here on the grid. Scott Wetzel and Cam Stewart until 10 p.m. Eastern time. We were just touching on the NFL before we went to break and, how great Patrick Mahomes is and who knows how long he's going to continue to play at 28. You would think another 4, 5, 6 years. We start comparing him, obviously, already to all-time greats, different sports. So our guy, Mike DeCourcy, great college basketball insider, on with Scotty Farrell this afternoon on Coast to Coast talking about how great Mahomes is.
There was a tweet that I reacted to on Sunday night. And so a lot of reaction to Mahomes, a lot of modern reaction to him is that he couldn't have been great in prior eras. Now, I'm not going to say that there wouldn't have been coaches who would not have allowed him to be great. I know that's true. But if you played his football in any era, it would have been wildly successful. He is just astonishing. His ability to improvise, his ability to find open receivers in the most difficult circumstances, his decision-making. He's honestly the best quarterback there's ever been. He's not going to get that recognition until he has a broader career. He's only been a starter for 6 years. But look at the 6 years. He's been in the AFC Championship game every year. He's been in the Super Bowl in 4 of them. He's won 3 of them. There's never been a quarterback who's done that. Now, I'm hopeful that he stays healthy, even though it affects the Steelers. I'm hopeful he stays healthy for another decade and never has to deal with the injuries that could impact his ability to build a career with longevity. But even in the absence of that, there's never going to be well, I can't say there won't ever be another, but you look back and there has never been a quarterback that began his career in this fashion.
All right, there you go. So, Mike DeCourcy talking a little Patrick Mahomes. Listen, I love Mahomes too, Cam, but I'm not ready to go that crazy as Mike is.
I agree.
One thing you cannot discount that the rules are completely changed from whether it's the quarterback not being able to be hit high, low, sideways, left, right. Whether it's the wide receivers, free release, not being able to be tackled basically as other wide receivers were in the 70s and 80s. The game is just completely different. And let me see when Mahomes can't scramble around like he can now. Let me see when Mahomes is kind of stuck with, okay, I mentioned this on one of the other shows. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Russell Wilson. When Russell Wilson was in his heyday with Seattle, he was scrambling all over the place, making plays, looking like the greatest quarterback in the world, right? When Russell Wilson decided he wasn't going to do that anymore, and he's either going to take a sack or throw the ball from the pocket, Russell Wilson turned into the Russell Wilson we now know. Let me see when that happens to Mahomes, what kind of quarterback he'll be. Not saying he's bad or anything, but I'm not ready to say he's the greatest quarterback of all time because I just don't think that's the case.
He's very elusive. He's a money player. They've also had a lot of great players around him. The Tyreek Hill situation when he left, and he still did it this year. Kelsey's one of the best tight ends. But I'll tell you this, too. I'm with you, Scott. Everything is different. You keep on doing it, then we'll talk. The one thing about Brady was, he's a 6th-round draft pick. Mahomes is a 1st-round draft pick. And Tom Brady always had a great line, but look at all the times he's won. Things can change in the NFL very quickly. Remember Robert Griffin III? I remember that playoff game as a Seahawk fan where Shanahan left him out there to get killed. He was never the same quarterback. I felt bad for him because he played hurt and they left him out there to die. His career was ending. All it takes is one hit, one big injury, whatever. We'll talk about it right now. Yes, if you look at ratios, one of the best of all time. But you also bring up a good point. You can't do anything to a quarterback now. Every time he gets touched, it's a flag. Guys who used to play in the old days, I watched Lyle Alzado and Howie Long almost kill Jim Zorn. I thought he was legally dead. The things they used to get it with. Guys playing with casts, right? It was like wrestling. Yeah. So we'll see. The game is different. What he's doing is amazing, but let's put the brakes on. You want to do it again? In Kansas City, the way they're talking after that party, they got a target on their back now. They're heel. These other teams are going to bring their A game. Let's remember, Baltimore screwed up and Buffalo screwed up. They didn't have all their best. Winning is a war of attrition. Just like the Stanley Cup, The team that has the most healthy players wins. Kansas City did very well to survive. None of their main defensive players got hurt, and they could have lost to Buffalo and Baltimore. Just put the brakes on.
Yeah. I mean, think about this. This to me really puts it in perspective. If Patrick Mahomes doubles what he's already done, and he's had a phenomenal career, we're already talking about how great he is, blah, 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 all right, he still is one short of Tom Brady when it comes to Super Bowl wins. I mean, that's how, far, 7-3. I mean, it's just like he can win 3 more and still not get to the 7. And that's only to match him, let alone to overtake him. And,
you know what,
I think the one little caveat Brady will always have is I beat you head-to-head. When you're in your prime, I'm a fading old man, and I still beat you in a Super Bowl. So,
and they got murdered in that Super Bowl by Tampa Bay. Let's remember one thing. There's a long way to go. What are the odds right now? So Brady's up 7-3. What are you going to get? What's Mahomes? What's the number that he ties or beats Brady, in your opinion?
Boy, I would say, if they wanted to get action, they'd put it at Pick'em, right? Just because I think they think everyone will say yes.
I would take everything I own and bet against him getting 7. He's not winning 4 more.
Me too.
And if he does, I'll come back on SportsGrid as an old man.
As well.
If Cardano and Sussman will have me, if I'm working somewhere else as an old guy with my cane, and I'll say I'm sorry. Patrick Mahomes will not win 8 Super Bowls in his career. Put it on tape. I think he'll get 5, 6 tops. He's not getting 7 or 8.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
That's my opinion.
AFC's going to be a war.
10, I'll say I'm an idiot. But there's, how hard it is to win the Super Bowl? All those guys aren't going to be there. And also, everything has to fall into place. And it did this year. Everything fell into place. Baltimore killed themselves in that game. They didn't even give up a point in the second half. It really pisses me off, these things. Blah, blah, blah. Dan Marino, if he had a friggin' running game, you know how many Super Bowls that guy would have had? Anyway, whatever. It's like comparing apples and oranges, man. It's just stupid. Anyway, I don't think he gets 8. I don't think he gets 7, 6 tops. That's my opinion.
Yeah. It's going to be tough. Next year, the AFC, Burrow's going to be healthy. You got Harbaugh now working with the Chargers. That's going to be a better situation. Jacksonville, I think, is going to bounce back. Houston looks like they're going to be around for a long, long time, right? And you still got Lamar and Allen. I don't know how much better those guys can really get, but, I mean, it is really going to be. This year was supposed to be that way, but Burrow got hurt. The Dolphins weren't as good as we all thought they would. Denver wasn't any good. We thought maybe they would be a terrific team. Chargers fell apart. So, but anyway, back to the board here. Back to the board.
What do we got?
Throw that out there.
Edmonton's up 2-1 already, Wetzel. A lot of early goals there. Your dark cloud. But there's a lot of hockey left. Vancouver's up 2-0 too. If this game ends now, you might be loving life.
Carolina tied up Dallas 2-2, but the Devils fell behind 2-1 to Nashville.
I'm on them twice.
But we'll take the split there.
Here's the experiment for all you guys out there. Me and Wetzel talked about it. Every team that was down, now the Islanders have tied it. Kraken was up 1-0. Yep. Dallas was up. That game's tied, and New Jersey is in the same spot. If you continually do that on a night-by-night basis, take a team down 1-0, even bet them plus 1.5, however you want to do your units, and chop it up with the money line, you'll make money. That's fact.
Yep.
It happens every night. Scott, a 1-goal lead in hockey, that's a joke. 2-goal lead's a joke.
Yeah.
Once it gets 3, it gets kind of real, but teams come back from 3 now. It's a different world we're living in. Teams can fire back from 4. Hockey's a weird sport.
Yeah, it's not like it used to be. The old days, it was like you had a 2-0 lead in hockey. That's it. Turn the TV set off. It's over. Now you're just getting underway. So
you are.
I got to hand it to you. 3 goals. Edmonton, Detroit. 3 goals in the first period.
Early.
I can't believe it.
Scott.
6.5.
Now what are you doing? You're doing the reverse dark cloud on me. We thought we were friends. No. I told you it's sunshine and clear skies here on the Stewart Wetzel 2-hour extravaganza. No dark clouds.
I will say this.
Hey, yes.
Are you a little surprised? They're only making it 7.5. So, I guess that's you would think, you're on pace for 9, and maybe they would give you a little bit more than that, or at least make it juiced over 7.5. They're like
I would have said
inviting you over
8.5
that.
with juice.
Yeah.
It's actually shocking. They got 3, but they're telling you the game is probably going to slow down a little bit. Let's just say one thing, Scott.
Right.
At 7.5, I'm not taking the over again. I'm happy where I stay. I'll take my 6.5. I think 7. Asking for 8 goals is a lot. It's a lot of goals.
That's a lot. I tell you, let me go to this Chicago team. I'm fixated on them. Oof. I was going to say if they gave you an over-under, that was a decent price, bet the under, but it's 1.5, but it's minus 260. Can't do that.
For them to get 2
I don't
goals?
think they're scoring tonight. Yeah. I don't
They
think
have
they're going
0
to get 2
right
goals
now.
tonight.
No, Scott, your parlay, your 5-banger is like right now. If this game ends, you'll have Chicago team total under, Edmonton winning in regulation. So what do you need? What other 3 parts do you need for this bet to win?
Under 5.5 goals for the
It's
game.
2-0. Yeah, thanks, guys. I love see Frank Font and Gary Graphic. Yeah, there you go. You guys get the program. Let's go. Let's put this board up here. Bob Board, let's take a look.
There you go.
Vancouver winning 2-0. Under 5.5, it's 2-0. There was no goal in the first 5 minutes. Chicago has no goals right now and no first period BTTS.
Both teams score.
What's that? Both teams score. Yeah, so thank you. You know what, Scott?
Yeah.
Let's roll. Me and Kurtz want a little more meat on the bone, but if you get 362 steaks instead of 500, it's still 362 steaks.
As
Load
we
your
say,
freezer.
if you start your sentence with "I only won," it's a pretty good sentence, right? Can't complain.
I like that one. I only won. Yeah, no, you're absolutely correct. Winning's good.
Yeah.
Me and my buddy Visine Vince, we talk about it, Scott. It's a line, and I don't listen to it enough. Yeah, he's my boy. Yeah, he's a postal carrier. If we end the day with a plus, it's a good day. We end the day with a plus on the week, it's a great week. You end with a plus a month, it's a great month. All you got to do is try to just grind winners because it's hard. It's like going to work. Betting's not easy. Just if you're winning, you're doing great.
Yeah. It's tough, especially when you do it every day, as we all do. You're going to get the bad beats. You're going to get some lucky breaks, but we all remember the bad beats, and we think it only happens to us. And, I'm the only one that had this bet. They never have, the winning streaks and losing streaks. It's the one thing Sherapan, one of the things that Dave told me that really kind of like clicks in. Like, I always bet winners bet with streaks, losers bet against streaks. And to his point, he said that's true because if you bet with the streak, you can only be wrong one time, right? Teams won 10 in a row, you bet them, and if they lose, okay, you lost. But that's one bet. If you bet them to lose and they win again, then you're going to bet them to lose and they win again. It never ends. You can lose 2, 3, 4 times in a row. So,
no, you're right, Scott.
But we always think, okay, we're going to bet them and they're going to lose. Watch.
I do play streaks, but you also have to look for a situation where the streak is, like, you know what I mean? Like, I agree with you, but I think there's parameters around betting streaks, right? Situations, look-aheads, travel, all sorts of stuff. But I would agree with that statement for the most part.
Yeah. All-star break. So, with Edmonton, that kind of screwed them. But, all right, one last check in the board when we come back in Game Live Prime Time.
Scoring 19.7 points per game, 13.1 rebounds, and 8.2 assists. How can a center that is top 50 in scoring, first in rebounding, 7th in assists, and 8th in field goal percentage not make the All-Star team? That is such a huge snub for Domantas Sabonis.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Over $200 million in the state of New York in sports betting, half of that going to the state. All thumbs up, I guess, across the board here, right?
Yeah, New York just continues to be the standard bearer for the industry. People are betting a ton on NFL. We've still got March Madness coming up. This is really the prime time for the U.S. sports calendar with the NFL playoffs, Super Bowl, and then college basketball, NBA, NHL in full swing.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
What are you thinking overall, kind of first reaction here? Patrick Mahomes, his legacy.
I don't know how far his drive is. Is his drive to become known as the greatest quarterback of all time? I don't think matching Super Bowls will really do that. I think there'll always be, the Brady people will always say, listen, it's a different era.
Football Full Circle, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network.
We'll look at the Heisman Trophy
The early line.
and what it all means. Individual success.
You should have tried to get something for Anthony Rendon. Not bought at the deadline.
Newswire.
We're getting a lot of news, trades, cuts, and some movement in terms of starting quarterbacks,
Pharrell
backup quarterbacks.
coast to coast.
I want to watch great players make buckets and win games.
Game time
I have
decisions.
no idea what the heck the Blazers are doing and what they do.
In-game live.
Just
Prime
took 'em
time.
yard for a grand slam.
The bottom of the fourth inning in a 12-2 baseball game. We got football scores going on at Wrigley right now.
Sports Rage
That was
Late
good betting.
Night.
We waited for 1.5. We got paid.
We did.
Didn't like the 2.5. Jumped on
There's
it.
no taking weeks off in golf betting ever. These are the best weeks to bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. InGame Live, Prime Time, wrapping up shop here. Scott Wetzel, Camp Stewart until 10 p.m. So we'll hand it off to the boys. We got a little late night edition here of InGame Live All Access with Dave Sherapan and Matt Peralt. So one little goofy line here, Cam. I don't think I've ever seen this. It's funny. Every show, there's always something that comes up like, wow, I've never seen that before. That is the Chicago Blackhawks team total over-under is a half. I've seen that before, but I don't think I've seen it with 6-7 minutes left to go in the second period. You're betting on them to be shut out. It's only the second period, and they're at home. But
I would take the over. But that might be the fish bet of the year. Like, they can get one goal, can't they? Like, maybe they lose 3-1 or 4-1 or no, that's ridiculous. Like, they can still, anything could happen. I watched the last time they played the Canucks. They hit a lot of bars too. But anyway, Scott, I'll tell you. So late night action. What do we got going on? We got Nevada and we got San Jose State. Correct?
Right.
Perfect.
Put those.
Anything else?
Put those in a little. What else do we have here? NBA, I'm going to go under LeBron James 24.5 points if he plays. I've been hitting on all his unders. He's gone 10-3 under his last 13 games. Doesn't miss by a lot, I will say, but it's the Pistons. I think he's going to take this one off, so I'm going to go under on that one. I'm going to play Minnesota against Portland. 15 of the last 18 Portland losses have come by 9 points or more. It's a monster spread on the road, but give me the teacups tonight against the Jailblazers.
I worry about that one just for the fact that, they won their last game against the Clippers. You know what, Scott? Here's Cam Stewart's dumpster part 3, and the dumpster has been full of gold tonight. Give me the Pistons plus 10.5 against the Lakers.
Ooh.
Sign me up.
Okay.
Dumpster
Right.
diving.
I can see that.
Why not?
Every once in a while, you just, these dog teams, and they're going to get up for the game. I don't know if that'll help that much, but I can see that. How about a little Portland? Throw this at your local Louis Lip. Give me a Portland Pistons parlay, Louis. He'll be like, great.
He'll be
Great job, Jim. Appreciate it,
Love
bud.
you, buddy.
Enjoy the rest
It was
of
fun.
the week. We'll talk to you.
You too.